Gonna take you down, deep down to the front line. You woke up this morning, got yourself a gun.
Hey everybody, this is Ms. Bummy. As you can see, I'm back in the kitchen and I have another recipe for you today. Today is going to include some Boondockers bold and spicy barbecued marinade. That's going to be one of the ingredients to all this that you see going on here. And oh, by the way, thanks for the moose knuckle hat. Okay, so to get started, let's go over the ingredients that we're going to be using today. You want to use 4 strips of bacon. I doubled it because KB loves bacon, as I'm sure most of you do. The other one is going to be some steak. You can do this with chicken as well, and I'm sure there's a way that you could tweak this to make it strictly a vegetarian dish if you'd like. You're going to need 3 cups of the rotini noodles, the pasta. You're going to need a diced onion. I bought one already diced because I'm not all about the dicing all the time. You're going to need some minced garlic. You're going to need 1 can of, I took and chose the petite cut tomatoes. You could get whatever kind that you like, but just make sure it's a 14.5 ounce can. You're going to need some red crushed pepper, salt and pepper to taste, and then of course you are going to need, in this case I'm using the beef broth. If you were using chicken, you would use the chicken broth, vegetable broth, and so on. And don't forget, the last ingredient and the most important, people, is what? The cheese. Okay, so that's all the ingredients. And this is going to be all done in one pot. It's a 1 pot barbecued, of course this is going to be steak pasta, okay? So you want to make sure to get a pot just like this, because you're going to put everything in it. Also, don't forget your 1 or half a cup of milk, and then your Boondocker sauce, you do that to taste. Now, the recipe originally calls for a 1/4 cup, but I decided to bump it up to a 1/3 cup, just to kind of see how that's going to work, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Now that I gave you all the ingredients, I'm going to go ahead and turn my stove on here. Get the pot heated up just a little bit. I don't know what was in there. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is, what we're going to cook in here is going to be the bacon until it's like brown and crispy. Okay? Kind of move this over here just a little bit out of the way so you can kind of see what's happening here. Okay. Now, you'll notice that when I got the bacon, I kind of cut it up into small little strips, okay? You can cut it, slice it, dice it any way that you want. And like I said, originally it calls for 4 cups, or 4 slices. If you want to go ahead and double that and make it 8 slices, that's perfectly fine too. The nice things about these 1-pot recipes is that it's pretty much an easy thing to do, 1, and then 2, if there's an ingredient in there or an item in there that you really like, then, you know, go ahead and add a little extra. I'm going to go ahead and get this going here. I love these 1-pot recipes because they're very easy to do. Cleanup is minimal. And with this particular recipe, it shouldn't take you very long to do the whole thing from beginning to end. I would guess it's probably going to take around 25 to 35 minutes to do this. Your prep time is going to be like about 5-10 minutes on most of the stuff. And then just note that this will be around 6 servings. Okay? Alright. So I'm going to go ahead I'm going to finish cooking up the bacon. I'm going to meet you back here in just a few minutes, and then we're going to get the rest of it rocking and rolling. Okay, back in a moment. Okay, I got the bacon done, and as you can see, it is nice and brown. Get a good look at that. Okay, I kept some of the bacon grease in here because I want to incorporate that flavor in with the steak too. So right now I'm going to go ahead and add the steak and let this cook for a couple of minutes. Now, just to let you know, the kind of steak that I used, I found in the grocery store, it wasn't anything expensive. In fact, I think it was what they use for like thin sliced steak for a sandwich. I need to adjust my camera just a moment, sorry. I'm doing this on my own and I'm failing because KB is not really here. So I'm trying. So that's the kind of steak that I used. But if there is a certain kind of steak that you like or tastes good to you, by all means, go ahead and use that one as well. Okay, just going to throw in a little pepper here. I like these recipes, the whole one pot thing. I think it's a fantastic idea. And as far as the barbecue sauce goes, I know that I told you that I'm using Boondockers. I will put a link below. You can check them out. They currently are on Facebook right now. I know that they're working on trying to get their product out in other ways out there on the internet. This stuff is fantastic. So I encourage you to check it out and give that a try next time you're cooking up something. I don't know if you saw my previous video, but my previous one was the Mexican lasagna, where I used a bit of dry rub in place of like what would have been the taco seasoning. And that was fabulous. So fabulous. Okay. I think I got this kind of browned up enough. So that's what we got in the pot so far. So far we have got our bacon and we've got our steak. And the next thing that we're going to add is the garlic and the onion. Cook that in there. That should take a couple of minutes. My only suggestion to you is like don't overdo the bacon. Make it a little bit undercooked because you are going to add more meat to this as well. So this is what it's going to look like so far. So there's your two ingredients. And then the next one that I'm going to go ahead and add is going to be the onion. And you can do this to taste. It calls for 1 whole onion. I'm assuming that is going to be a small or medium-sized onion. So I'm just going to add that in there. And then we're going to add some minced garlic too. Again, you can do this to taste. I like to put, you know, a couple big heaps in there. Heaps. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stir this in. Cook this up for a couple of minutes. And I've got this on medium heat because, like I said, I don't want to overdo it. I don't want things to get overcooked, but I want to cook enough so that everything is nice and brown. Okay. So that's going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then the next thing that's going to go in is going to be your broth. And while that's still cooking away, excuse me. And remember, the broth is going to call for 2 cups. So we'll get 1 cup of this measured out, so 4. Okay, and then the rest of the ingredients that are going to go in here is going to be the broth, the tomatoes, the milk, the red pepper flakes, the pasta, the salt and pepper, and then you're going to bring this to a boil. You're going to cover it, reduce the heat, and make it simmer until the pasta is cooked through. Now this should take approximately 16 minutes. It might take a little bit shorter, it might take a little bit longer. Depends on how your pot heats up and how your stove is working. Okay, I think I got this looking pretty good here. Let's see if I can give you a sneak peek. So that's what we have in there so far. We got the bacon, the steak, the onions, the garlic. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is add our broth. And remember, that's going to be 2 cups. Just wanted to double check and make sure I'm telling you the right thing before I go any further. You should be like, yeah. I have not done this recipe before, so that's why I keep kind of looking back at it just to make sure that I'm on the right path here. Because there's nothing worse than going, oh dang, screwed that up. Okay, here's our tomatoes. We're going to go ahead and add those in there. The milk, the red pepper flakes. Okay, and you can see how like small diced these tomatoes are. So we'll add that in there. I took out the excess fluid in the tomatoes. Give this a stir. Okay. Get this kind of all incorporated with one another. Or as Emma used to say, getting to know one another. Okay. Alright, so then that's the tomatoes. We're going to go ahead and add the milk. And remember, that's half a cup of milk. Okay, and then as far as the red pepper flakes go, just do that according to taste. And some salt and pepper. And remember, you can always start off adding a little bit and then go from there, you know. It's better to be a little bit on the conservative side when you're starting off and going full bore, because it might not taste the way that you think it's going to, and that can cause a little bit of problem. Okay, put that back over there. Okay. And let's see. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and add my pasta. That will be the next thing. Now I got everything else in there. Okay, now remember, we're going to turn the heat up at first because we want to bring it to a boil. And then we're going to go ahead and cover this and then let this finish cooking through. And of course, the last thing that we'll be adding will be our Boondockers barbecue sauce and our shredded cheese. So let's not forget about those 2 items. Those are up on deck next. And just to kind of give you an idea of what it'll look like in your pot so far, that's everything minus the barbecue sauce and the cheddar cheese. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, bring this up to a boil, reduce this to the heat, probably cook it for about 16 minutes on my stove, and then I'll be back with you in just a moment. Stay tuned. Okay, I am back in the kitchen. Now that we got this done, I'm going to take the lid off. I'm going to give this a stir. Have you take a look at this. That's all of our ingredients in there. Okay, so the last 2 things that we're going to do is stir in the barbecue sauce. and the cheese, and we're going to heat that thoroughly through, and that should take about 1 to 2 minutes. Now, I'm going to start off with a 1/3 cup of the Boondockers barbecue sauce. And like I said, I'll put the link down below if you want to go and check them out. I really like their products. You can do a lot of different things with these items that they sell. Oh my gosh, if this was smell-o-vision, whoo, yum. Okay, I'm gonna add just a dash more because I want to make sure that everything gets coated really well, because you want to be able to taste the barbecue sauce on the pasta noodles, in the steak, in the bacon. Okay, and this usually calls for a cup of cheese, but those who know me and follow my cooking channel know I'm all about the cheese, so it's going to be more than 1 cup. And let me just turn this on low. Stir that in, and I was just adding a little bit at a time. And of course, you can add as much or as little as you like. Once again, everything is to taste. Okay. I think probably 1 more handful should do it. Okay, make that 2 handfuls. I lied. There we go. Okay. Let me move that out of the way. Oh, this barbecue sauce smells so good. It just reminds me of the time I have my best friend who lives in Austin, Texas, and we went to go eat some barbecue, and oh my gosh, that just reminds me of Texas all over again. Okay, so let's turn off the heat. I'm going to go ahead and plate this up. And now that KB is here, I'm going to have him taste this. Oh my gosh, this looks absolutely delicious. So you got some bacon, you got some steak, you got some pasta, you got some onion, you got the cheese, you got the garlic. Okay. Let me get you a fork there, KB. Tell me what you think.
Try to get a little bit of everything here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. I'm not gonna take a taste off your fork because I know you are not feeling very good at the moment. So let's get just a little bite here. That is really good.
Yeah.
I know it's probably not spicy enough for you, but I did put quite a bit of red pepper flake in there. And this is the nice thing about these dishes too. You can add any kind of seasoning that you want to doctor it up to make it a little bit more spicy, give it a little bit more kick, give it a little more taste. It's the beautiful thing about doing everything in one pot.
No, I wouldn't add more spice to it. It's got a little bit of heat at the end.
I love the barbecue sauce. I'm in love with the barbecue sauce.
Besides that, it's never about how hot you can make it. It's how good that spice is, and This spicy boondockers is pretty damn good.
It is. So there's another example of using the Boondockers product. This time it is the bold and spicy barbecue sauce and marinade. You could use it for either or. And that's one of the things that I like about these products is that they're very versatile. You can use them for a lot of different things. So I think that's it. Here, I'll just give this to you. That's it. Join me again sometime soon. I don't know when. I'll be doing another recipe. I did have a request for some fried rice, so that might be the next dish that'll be on tap next. We'll see. So that's it for now. This is Miss Bomi saying good night, good eats wherever you are. And Jolson, thanks for the moose knuckle hat. Good night.